Are you moving to Oklahoma City and have tons of questions about the area? I'm here to get you some answers. I work with a lot of buyers from other states, and most have the same questions about living here. I'm going to go over the 10 most frequently asked questions I get from these buyers. I'm willing to bet you have some of the same, so hang with me if you want some answers. Hi everyone, my name is Laura Canedy. I'm a licensed realtor, but I'm also an Air Force spouse of over 20 years. And like you, I moved to Oklahoma from out of state and have done so a few times. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. Please text or email me directly if you want to know more about moving to Oklahoma City. My contact is in the description box. All right, let's get to the questions. They're in no particular order, so watch the whole way through so you don't miss getting yours answered. All right, question 1. How high are property taxes? Or why do some areas like Edmond have higher taxes than other areas, even though they're in the same county? In the Oklahoma City metro, property taxes are around 1% of the assessed value. They're a little higher in Oklahoma County and a little bit lower in Logan and Cleveland counties. The taxes also vary within each county based on the assigned school district. So without getting too deep into it, because I know taxes can be super boring, in general, you'll have an initial calculation based on the county you're in, and then that number factors into a second calculation based on the school district. So when you shop for houses, know your county, know your schools, and then this will give you a good idea of what side of that 1% your property taxes will fall on. So this relates to our next question, which is why or how are Edmond schools better? Well, they're better because test scores are higher than average. So going back to taxes, the district assesses more money in taxes, which then pays for higher teacher salaries, more programs, and more specialized programs. Every child in the district is issued a Chromebook for learning. They've been building new schools and updating older ones. So short story, Edmond and also Deer Creek, which is next to Edmond, they levy more taxes, which pay for more things. More money, more things. And then in return, that generally means higher test scores. All right, question 3, what do people do for work here? Well, lots of things. The oil and gas industry is huge in Oklahoma. So many people are here for that. A lot of people work in the military or with the military, so that's really big too. We have multiple large healthcare networks with doctors, nurses, admin, all the people that need to keep those systems up and running. Computer programming, food industry, lawyers, veterinarians, graphic designers, just everything that makes a city function and flourish. I know people who earn income in many, many different ways. Okay, the next question has all to do with weather. How cold does it get? How humid does it get? For how long? Do you get much snow? How windy is it? Or is it always this windy? How bad are the tornadoes? Lots and lots of weather questions. And rightfully so, because it probably does differ from where you're moving from. As you know, Oklahoma is in the middle of the country, and so our weather is kind of in the middle too. It gets hot and humid in the summer, but only for a couple months and not nearly as humid as the deep south or areas like Minnesota and Illinois. We get rain, but nothing like the Northwest. It does get cold here in the winter, but it's sunny most of the year and temps hover around 35 degrees. It only snows for a handful of days a year and it melts quick. We get more ice than snow, but even that is gone after a few days. Fall always feels warmer than everyone wants it to be, with only 2 or 3 weeks of really perfect weather. And then spring is always colder and yuckier than everyone wants it to be. The weather can be kind of finicky, so just when you think something is here to stay, 3 days later, a whole different set of conditions comes in. For example, it was in the high 80s the last 2 days, and today is in the 40s. In regard to more severe weather, we might have months with uncharacteristic tornado action and hail or wildfires like we had recently. We just had one. And then, there's some years where barely any of that happens and you think you're good. And then there are other years where you definitely need to use your storm shelter. The one thing that is consistent, however, is the wind. It is a rare day when the wind is calm. And when you see a little wind symbol on the weather app, then you know you're really in for it. Is it going to blow you over? No. Is it going to annoy you on some days? Yeah, probably. Speaking of weather, question 5 is, what does that sound? That sound, my friend, is the tornado siren being tested. The sirens are tested every Saturday at noon. They're loud and unexpected if you don't know about them. I often show buyers homes over the weekend, and the ones that aren't from this area are always startled when it goes off. But it's okay, I was too. I wondered the exact same thing when I moved here. Eventually you'll hardly notice it, or like me, you'll use it as a time reference instead. Next question. Why are people moving here and where are they coming from? A lot of people move here because the cost of living is lower than where they were living before. So people often come from the West Coast where they've sold their houses for a high price, and then they buy here at a lower price, and often people come here to retire. The others are usually here for a job transfer or because the military told them they had to be. And some grew up here and just want to come back for families or raise their families here. Question 7. Shopping. What kind of shopping? Are there malls? But most especially, I get a lot of questions related to grocery stores. What grocery stores are here? Where do I get my food from? People are concerned about their food. I covered shopping, like shopping for clothes and other items in my pros and cons video. If you haven't yet, go take a look at that for some answers there. But in terms of grocery stores, I feel your concern. I think many of us have the luxury of choice and are in this food buying rhythm, and we have stores we really like that we're reluctant to leave. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and maybe you'll feel otherwise, but to me, Oklahoma has the worst grocery shopping experience of all the places I've lived. It's just hard to find everything you want from one store, and I know I'm not alone in this sentiment. I know many people have a really similar experience. Like, one store might have really great produce, but then their meat isn't that great. Or, some stores might have a lot of choices, but then their prices run high. Or dry goods are good at one store and produce isn't good at another store. Or some people have certain dietary restrictions and they can find some of those foods, but not others, and then other foods elsewhere, but not the first set. It's just hard to stick with one store that has all your wants and needs. But depending on where in the metro you live, if you want specialty items, there's Costco, Sam's Club, Trader Joe's, Sprouts, and Whole Foods. And then there's some smaller stores for global cuisine. But our big stores are like just Walmart Grocery, Target Grocery, Crest, Homeland. I don't know. We don't have Kroger. I really wish we had Kroger. I miss Kroger a lot. But they do have a new, they don't have a brick and mortar store, but they do have a new warehouse distribution center, and you can sign up and get groceries delivered that way. I haven't tried it yet, but I know people who have, and they're really, really happy with it. Question 8. Why are there so many brick houses? This is a question I get most often from people relocating from the West Coast, and one I had when I first moved here from California. If you live on the West Coast, you know that a lot of houses are faced with stucco, but here it's mostly brick. Brick is more economical in Oklahoma. I don't know the whole history. You can look it up on the internet if you want, but it has to do with our clay soil and therefore local sourcing and manufacturing, which means less cost to the builders. It also holds up well to our heavy weather, our storms, our hail, and you don't have to paint it. And so that adds to the savings too. If you like brick, great. If you don't like brick, I hope you can learn to like it. And that way you'll have more appealing housing options. Question 9. I see homes for sale, but who is selling and why and where are they moving to? Buyers want to know all about the sellers. Just like we have people moving in, we also have people moving out. However, people move out at a much slower rate than they move in. So a lot of sellers are simply just changing houses. Many like Oklahoma and want to stay here, but they want to move to a different school district or a different area within the state to be near family, or they want to upsize or downsize. A lot of locals actually just stay local. And the final question, question 10. Thanks for hanging with me if you've been here this far. Our final question, do you have zoos or anything for kids to do? No. Yes, we do. We have lots of local activities for kids. In the Adventure District, we have a great zoo that's actually getting expanded, a fantastic science museum and planetarium next door. There's Frontier City, which is run by Six Flags. You can check out River Sport Adventures, where you can rent kayaks and paddle boards and zip line. There's Orr Family Farm and a train museum, a fighter museum, an aquarium, lots of trampoline parks and places to play laser tag or paintball. There's Main Event, go-kart racing, water slides, ice skating, pickleball, escape rooms, lakes for fishing, boating, sailing, camping. There's places to rock climb, mountain biking trails, skate parks. Plus we have all the sporting events and concerts and Broadway shows. There's just so much to do with kids if you want to. Yes, we definitely have a lot to do. So, did I bet right? Did you have a lot of the same questions? I hope I got some of them answered for you. If you have other questions I didn't get answered here or ones specifically related to our local housing market, feel free to ask those in the comments so other viewers can benefit, or reach out to me privately and I'll help you as best I can. You can also check out my other videos on the topic, like pros and cons, reasons to avoid moving here, or any of my tour videos of the surrounding cities. Happy moving. See you next time.